occurs to me that at one point I give the brushes I used for this painting, and throughout that entire thing I never actually say the brush that I used for like the actual painting itself. It's this brush right here, onto the video. I did a painting study of SaltyPhish, and this video is just me explaining surface level of wait, I'm explaining my process. The most important part of any work of art is the sketch. It's the basic building block everyone needs to know, which is why I blazed right through that shit. I just didn't have time for it. I went as fast as I could. I said, fuck that. I got bored halfway through. After that, I went through, quickly put in just like large scale areas of just like black, just to kind of map out sort of where I was going to do the shading. I normally spend more time on that, but I didn't feel like it. Which you'll understand once you become a god tier artist, that 99% of what any artist does is just because they didn't feel like doing it a certain other way. After I finished that, I put down a lovely mildew color, mildew yellow. It looks like poop. I knew it was going to be 99% covered up, so I didn't care. Also, it was just on the color palette I was using, and I didn't feel like switching color palettes or trying to think too hard about doing a different color palette. So this is just one I was really familiar with. And that's why I chose the dark purple blue that you see I'm using as shading on the other side. So yeah, then you just kind of go over your shadows. I always like to shade over a bit, like overshade a bit. I know with how I work, my shadows get smaller and lighter as I blend all to hell over it, because I'm just so good at this that I pay attention to like my mistakes that I tend to make so that I can overcorrect before I make them. Because that's genius level thinking right there. After that, you just gotta go in and start doing details. I just start with the eyes because those are the most fun, and I like to save the worst for last. Also, just a side note, you'll see me go back and fix random lines in the process of doing this, and that's because my Apple Pencil battery was dying, not because it's part of my normal process. It's just like the hell that I'm sunbathing in. A problem that I could easily fix after I got comfortable with painting the face. I started painting the hat, and because I've never drawn a material like that before, and because I blazed through the original sketch phase like the absolute cool guy I am, I had to go back and draw in the specific shapes of the hat in order to just kind of make it easier for myself to know like which parts I'm going to put where and what colors go there, because everything is shapes. And oh yeah, if you're curious, I did this in Procreate, and the brushes I used for this were the 6B pencil for the sketch, the Studio pencil for filling in those large areas of color like I did with the yellow in the beginning, and then shading ash in the end, and then the line work on ash was done with the ink bleed pen. After I got finished with the hat and did nothing but scribble on the feathered boa, which was probably the most fun part, I went back and tackled the pillow, and I actually royally screwed up the process of that because the colors I was using were too dark, and I ended up having towards the end to go back and over it and fix it and lighten it up because I wasn't zoomed out enough to realize that the pillow wasn't matching the rest of the drawing, which is why you should, zoom out, like just zoom out, zoom all the way out. If you think you're zoomed out enough, I promise you're not. Zoom out some more. Last but not least, I went in and drew the background and had a real fun time drawing some bricks. Oh, I don't like drawing backgrounds. Nobody likes drawing backgrounds. Except background artists who do it for a living. I bet even they hate themselves sometimes, though. And in the original screenshot I took, there's a ton of stuff on this guy's dresser, and I thought for a minute that I should go back and like redraw like all the stuff, make it more interesting instead of just sitting there. And then I realized I'm not getting paid to do this, and I'm kind of bored of doing it, so nah, I'm good. And then I just had to like add the finishing touch to the pillow, which was the horny ass drawing because I felt like drawing boobies, and add it to the filter and some text, and yeah, I called it done. I was done. I just, yeah. That's my drawing process. I hope no one learned anything, and sub to Salty Fish. Cheers.